all over the world right now. In Greece, and in Spain, and in Portugal, and in Ireland, and in Iraq, and in Chile. There's something very important that links all these countries together right now in this moment. And there's a lot of other countries too. And it's best summed up with 3 letters, IMF. And that stands for the International Monetary Fund. Who took, when the CIA killed Victor Jara and took over the government of Chile and installed a fascist government under Augusto Pinochet, they also installed a fascist economic program kind of designed by a guy named Milton Friedman in Chicago. And Chile became the most free market capitalist corporate wonderland in the world. And you might know that they installed a program about 3 times worse in Iraq after the US invasion. Guess who redesigned Iraq's economy? The International Monetary Fund. And then they started hosting these conferences in London where they were selling off parts of Iraq's economy to multinational corporations. And you would think, oh, it was just all about oil. Why then was Kodak co-sponsoring these conferences in London? Why was Monsanto co-sponsoring these conferences in London? All these big agriculture firms, telephone companies, anybody who could get their hands on the new Iraq market got in there. And now the International Monetary Fund, now that they've ravaged the third world, and have been kicked out of a lot of countries in Latin America. Thailand kicked them out. And so they're coming back home to eat their own tail in Portugal, and Greece, and Ireland, and Spain, all of which are being basically in either completely or in part run by the International Monetary Fund right now, and they're all bankrupt. This is a song about what the IMF's economic program looks like in the world in 2 short minutes. 1 cup of coffee, $1.50. Guy who picked the coffee didn't get 3, and he's trying to survive in an industry that doesn't care about people. And he's working on the hills in stolen land, picking at the earth with a scuffed bare hand, sweating for the profits of some rich man that doesn't care about people. You buy a piece of fruit at the grocery store, ship from Guatemala, Chile, El Salvador. Grow up with children in the civil wars that were funded by fruit corporations. A global trade system riding on the backs of families packed in wallless shacks, living in the fear of death squad attacks that are funded by fruit corporations. Don't know why Hawaii is a state. Because the Dole Banana Company was like, we're going to have this island. We're going to make this into a, you might know the term Banana Republic, which ironically is totally fitting for a store that sells sweatshop clothes in it entirely. They did with Hawaii. Dole took it over, they overthrew the domestic government there, and then eventually the US was like, oh, it'll just be easier to just make this a state. You can't get away with all that easily anymore, except in Honduras and Haiti. It's still possible. But so now they have the IMF right there, regulations. And here it is. Where were we? 1 pack of t-shirts, $4.50. Girl who sold the t-shirts didn't get 3. She's stuck in the belly of an industry that doesn't care about people. Bangladesh factory, 16-hour shifts, no overtime breaks or benefits. And they'll fire her if she gets pregnant, because they don't care about people. The New York banks watch the Thai baht grow, and they took high amounts in Thai baht loans, converted them to dollars, and they got back home and it put millions into poverty. They paid off their debts in US cash, pocketed the profits in US banks, and the Southeast Asian markets crashed and put millions into poverty. So when you go around the world and basically force countries with the threat of sanctions or military invasion to change their economic policies to be fitting for your multinational corporations, they like to do this thing where they, what they call deregulation, deregulating the financial market, which basically just allows these enormous banks with all their money to just kind of like gamble freely with no oversight and no regulation and no restriction. And what these people are able to do is take over countries' economic economically, and then if they decide to shift their money around like they did in Argentina in 2000, 2001, they can bring a whole country's fucking economy down and put half the people out of work. And that's not illegal anymore. It used to be, but it's not illegal anymore because of these groups. And there's a term they use. What do we call it if you get caught, if you get arrested? Well, they don't ever get arrested. We get arrested when we steal. But when you steal like X amount of hundreds of dollars of goods, there's a special term for it. When it's like really expensive. What do we call it? Anyone?
Grand larceny.
Grand larceny. One time somebody said shopping. I was like, that's the best one. Yeah, we call it grand theft or grand larceny. In the economic world, if you're like a Wall Street banker, we call that speculation. And it's legal. Just a little. But then again, these people also call houses mortgage-backed securities. And we call them homes or houses. Because we actually live in them. We don't just buy and sell them and kick people out. Anyways, back to the song. One diamond ring, a few grand, kid who mined the diamonds lost his hands. It's a message from the soldiers who run the land that is funded by